In this video, we're going to replace the plugs and wires in a 2007 GMC Yukon Denali with a 6.2 L92 engine that has a Whipple supercharger, and then it has Kooks headers, and it also has Corsa exhaust. And so the Whipple supercharger manual specifically recommends NGK TR7iX plugs. So that's what we purchased, and that's actually what's in there now. So those are NGK stock number 3690. And then since we've got the Kooks headers on there, we're going to put these Excel Extreme 9000 ceramic wires on, just to be extra careful. Currently has MSD plug wires on, so it currently has these on there. So it's the MSD 8.5 millimeter superconductors. But as you'll see, they'd been on for quite a while, and they were extremely difficult to pull off. I think probably because of the heat, and so I'm going to switch it out for these Excel ceramics, which I think will do a better job. And I want something that's going to be durable and not break when I take it off, since I'll have to change these plugs approximately every 20,000 miles is what Whipple recommends. So for this setup with this Whipple supercharger, they recommend that you inspect and replace the plugs every 20,000 miles. So these NGK plugs are iridium, so normally you'd get about 100,000 miles out of them, but with the supercharger on there, in theory you're going to get less. Alright, so Whipple recommends a 0.035 inch gap. NGK spec on this is 0.039, and it's an iridium plug, so a little bit more of a pain to adjust. So I've got my gap tool here, and I'm going to check these with a 0.35, and so they are just a hair over 0.035, but when you get it in there, really don't have much room, so it's only just a hair difference. So you'll want to go through and check and just make sure that they're all the way that you want them. Adjust them to 0.35, which is kind of a little bit of a pain on this plug because it's a hard plug and it's so close, because you only need to move it 4 thousandths. So I'm going to put them in just as they come from NGK into the engine. So here's a close-up of these NGK TR7iX plugs, and that model number is NGK 3690. Hit stop. So as you go around to remove and change all 8 spark plugs, you're going to be able to do it with just these tools. So you need a good spark plug socket, that has the rubber piece in there that's going to allow you to catch the old plug and hold on to the new plug as you put it in. I used a 1/2-inch drive ratchet with a 1/2 to 3/8 adapter, and then I used these 3 different length 3/8 drive extensions, and between those and various different combinations you'll be able to get to every single plug and remove them. And then on 2 of the plugs I just couldn't get in a good enough position to get enough leverage to break the plug free, so I used this extension, this pole off of a jack, to get a little bit more torque and to break them free. You wouldn't use that when you put the new ones back in. You're just going to use that 1/2-inch wrench to get them tightened up. All right, so we're going to start on the easy side of the engine. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this plug wire. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and pull this first plug. So go ahead and get the spark plug socket on there well. Break it free. As you can see, that plug is pretty roasted in comparison to the new one. So it's very unlikely that this plug was changed every 20,000 miles, but going forward it will be changed every 20. Right, so here's a real close-up comparison of these two plugs. So it was way overdue for a change. Right, I'm gonna go ahead and put this first new one in. So that's the first plug. So to make these wires a little bit more willing to come off next time, I'm going to put just a little bit of dielectric grease right on the tip of the spark plug. So the driver's side plugs are a lot easier to access, at least on this 07 GMC Yukon Denali. You know, there's reasonable space. You know, you're just going to have to use whatever combination of the adapters works. I recommend putting the spark plug socket on the spark plug directly, making sure that it's pushed all the way on to the socket, and then putting the adapters and the ratchet on. breaking it loose and backing it out, and then gradually turning it with your hands to bring it all the way out. So that side of the motor's pretty straightforward. As you go to the other side, if yours is like mine, you've just got hoses and more hoses and hoses everywhere. And so still going to use those same extensions to get in and to take these plugs out. You're just going to have to be kind of more creative, and you're going to have to contort your arms, and you're going to have to push them down. You know, you can move some of the hoses out of the way, like these on mine move out of the way. And then the worst one is the one all the way on the back on the passenger side. And so you really have to reach far down there, so you kind of end up having to get up and then kind of lay across the engine to reach your arms down in order to get it off. But then once you go through all that contortion, you'll have all the plugs removed and switched out. And then if you're doing the wires, you'll be ready to switch the wires out. All right, now we can get the second one. All right, so that was the second spark plug wire. All right, go ahead and get the second one out. So this one looks even worse. And it's got gas, raw gas on it. All right, go ahead and put the second one back in. Tighten it up. Go ahead and pull the spark plug wire off the third one on the side.
It's being blocked by the hose.
By this?
Yeah.
Third one off.
Do I? Oh no, yes. All right, so to get to this one, I needed to turn
the steering wheel, so the bolt on the steering column here was out of the way, and then use a longer extension to get in and get this one out. The box.
Oh, the box?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this one is pretty nasty too. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and remove this plug wire. It'll be a similar process for each of them. Just some of them are a little more inconvenient than others. So pull it off. And that's the removal. Many of them are going to be a lot more difficult than that. You'll have to fight with some of them. Okay, so on the passenger side of the engine, things are of course a lot tighter. So I've got these broken free from the plugs. Go ahead and remove them from the coil packs. Alright, got them all off. Okay, so we're going to put dielectric grease on these so they'll be easier to remove the next time. So on the top of the wire, we're just going to go ahead and apply a small amount, and then we're going to come around down here and we're going to put a small amount right on the end, the metal end of the spark plug, and that'll pay huge dividends in getting these off later. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and install this wire. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and connect it at the top. Alright.
Should I stop recording?
And I'm
now?
going to go ahead and kind of make sure I'm happy with the way that it's situated. So these are a little bit longer than the MSD cables were. Since they're so much harder to get to, I was putting a little dab of dielectric on the end of a screwdriver and then actually applying it up inside of the boot to the terminal in here, because it's a lot easier than trying to get down there to that actual plug head to do the same thing. And then of course do it on the top the normal way. Alright, so here's all four in place on the driver's side. These wires are longer than the MSD that I pulled out, so that just creates kind of a different scenario in terms of routing. So so once you get them all in and situated and you're happy with them, you'll be ready to start it up. All right, now that all the plugs are changed and the new wires in place, let's go ahead and start it up.